Reginald Campbell, www.houseofreconciliation.org. Connect, serve, and grow is what you can expect at the House of Reconciliation. Leadership, community, education, wellness, and participation is part of our plan for your spiritual growth and success. Family and faith is a core value for the House of Reconciliation, working to help people find their purpose. Want to make an impact in the kingdom? Ready to tap into your future? Meet us at the House Sundays with Pastor Reginald Campbell, www.house.
And thank you. We want to welcome you into another edition of Successful Living. We're here at the Greenwood campus on this Tuesday afternoon. So glad that you're taking the opportunity to join us. Our prayers are still going out for our brothers and sisters all the way up in the Midwest and up in New England and Massachusetts and Ohio and Michigan and all of that snow. I think I was talking to one of the brothers, and he shared with me that they're expecting 12 inches of snow in Michigan. So we are our prayers. And I was talking to our first virtual campus member, Brother Ray, and he was outside working on something in the snow. And so we down here in the South, we're lucky so far. We had a little dust up, several for 2 weekends. And so right now I think it's pretty much in the 50s. So we're praying for you, but we're thanking God that we're not in your shoes at this moment. Want to talk to you this evening. We have concluded the first month of a New Year's resolution. And so we started talking the other day about staring. And so this evening, I want to give you a couple insights on staring in the dark and why. Why is it that at this point in my life, in the first half of 2022, I feel like I have not moved away from 2017, 2018, 2020, even with the pandemic, and hopefully we're headed to the curve or coming out of the curve of the pandemic. And in some instances in our lives, we feel like we're still not moving. So this evening, there's a couple things I want to share with you in the next few minutes that will help us, help you, help me, and help those that you share it with. Please don't hesitate to join our YouTube channel. That is House of Reconciliation. Don't hesitate to join our virtual campus. You can go to www.houseofreconciliation.org. It is free. Join, be a part. Please help us. We are trying to, in Greenville, with the Greenville campus, we want to look at either buying land or purchasing a building. So any of your contribution goes toward the ministry. We're taking 3 months off. We'll come back in April with the 3 ministries that we're going to support. So we thank all of you for what you did in 2021 and for what you've begun to do in 2022. So we're going to talk about staring in the dark. One of the things that you and I have to realize in our base scriptures coming out of Proverbs, the 18th chapter and verse 21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it shall eat its fruit. Again, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And what I want to say to you is you have the power to speak the direction of your life. And anytime you or I say, hang out with negative people, do negative things, we invite a group that you don't see. There is a scripture in the New Testament that talks about when one evil spirit comes in, it goes and it gets 7 other spirits even more wickeder than itself. So sometime our words can become seeds that now become stumbling blocks. You can't, and so I think the metaphor is we try to speak negative thinking that God or someone's going to rescue us. And we don't understand that the more we say it, the more times that we're negative, the more times that we're putting down, these things happen. I think it's Matthew, 13? 12:45, Matthew 12:45. Please put this as a part of your reading. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wickeder than himself. These are the things when you and I are thinking negative. It goes back to the 4 things that I've shared with you and I for a while. The illusions, the imagination, the hallucinating, and then the hypothetical thinking. And what happens, and they enter in and dwell there. And here's the thing. These spirits are patient, and they don't rush to cause you to stumble. They don't jump on you or I all at one time, but what they do is they set up stumbling blocks and hindrance, and they play with the illusion, which we ought to automatically know is a false narrative, is something that's not true. So you can have a 80% of getting the job. You can have 95% of being able to get something done. God has given you an innate inheritance naturally. And then when you're born in Christ, you get another one. So you have a double inheritance. And the enemy, the adversary, will talk you and I and cause stumbling blocks to hinder us by our own mouth. So it says, and then the last state of that man is worse than the first, because you can't say negative things and then expect positive results. And so when the text says, who loves it shall eat its fruit, here it says, and the last state of that man is worse than the first. See, we already going to have enough challenges and obstacles. I was talking with the senior deacon in the back, and I said, we have a proclivity to put off things one day or 1 hour before they're done. And if it's something electronically, that'll be the day your internet's out. If it's something that you're supposed to drive to and you could have gone and taken care of it 5 and 7 days ago, that's the day you're going to have car trouble. If it's something that you're supposed to get off to the post office, that's the day your phone's going to be ringing, and we'll say, well, I don't understand this and what's going on. It's because the enemy, the adversary, loves to steal time from you. We can go everywhere else and stand in line for A, B, C, and D. And we don't want to come to church and have prayer and do things. So here's the two things. Words can become seeds, delivering negativity or birthing life. And I have been reading and researching because I want to gravitate to, especially as we roll into the spring, about life. And what being a part of fellowship and in union and being in service will do for you in life. So Proverbs said that. So here's what we talked about. Turn the direction of your tongue. I really would love for you to have a jar, and this is old school, have a jar, and every time something positive said, put a nickel in it. And then every time that something is negatively said, put a penny in it, and see which one you will have the most of. Every time one of your friends, every time a colleague on your job always says something, and we think, oh, they're just bringing it. No, they are negative. And anyone who's negative is bringing with him or her stumbling blocks. And we have enough hurdles. Now I'm going to say this, and this is probably going to be offensive to some people. Stop looking at what you see in the mirror and start believing who's connected with you on the inside of you. I'm going to say that again. Stop allowing your identity to be what you see in the mirror and start pursuing who you are connected to inside. Now you can read between the lines. So here we go. The Good News, I'll give you a moment to write that. I'm just going to repeat this scripture. The Good News translation says, what you say can preserve your life. So when you say things like, well, school is challenging, add a caveat to that and says, I'm going to have to find a tutor. I'm going to have to find resources. Don't sit there and have a problem and then compound the problem with all the negativity. Because every time you or I say something negative, we invite a negative spirit to come and to hinder progress. And that goes back to, I believe you all told me, Matthew 12:45. So and here's the thing. Here's the thing now. You nor I get over this moment. This is going to take us some time. Because I was talking to the clinical psychologist, and he said to me that it is the nature of humanity to be negative. I may tear up the word, it's a medical word, I think they call it cortisol, that spreads 70% in the brain when something happens. So before a positive reaction can come, just the nature of humanity, which is the core value of sin, which nobody want to talk about sin anymore. There's no sin in the world. Nobody wants to call it sin anymore. You want to lose the audience, start saying something about sin. So we don't call it what it is. But those spirits that work against us are the adversary. So it says, what you say can preserve life or destroy it. So you must understand the consequences of your words. We have to understand. Sometimes, and remember I said this some time ago, is it God? Is it the adversary? Or is it me? Some of the difficulties that we're having in life is not a God issue. Some of the difficulties are not an adversary issue. Many of our difficulties is what we put in our own atmosphere. And so I'm going to address that a little bit. Here is where the separation, I want you to write the rub. The rub. Some people call me the Sandman. They're like, when you talk to him, you just go, I'm not trying to bring you down. I'm trying to stabilize you so we all can come up. Here's what will happen. Get ready for this. Many will get mad at you because you're trying to get your life together. If you go, and no offense to anybody, and you hang out every Monday at the caffeine shop and the donut shop every Monday, caffeine shop on Monday, donut shop on Tuesday, and then the buffet on Wednesday. And if you're going to try to get in shape for summer or spring, you have to come out of the caffeine shop. You have to stay away from the donut shop, because one donut, and they're good. I mean, especially, I don't know what y'all have, but there's one called KK. Oh man, that KK donut. You have to walk 3,700 steps to walk off one donut, and most people don't walk 3,700 steps one day. Sometimes 2 days. It says those who love to talk will experience the consequences for the tongue that can kill or nourish life. See, we're not nourishing life. We want our lives to be better, and yet we are sharpening the blade to cut ourselves. So that is a beautiful quote up there. That's Proverbs 18:31. Good. Here's what happens. The reason many people will fall out with you while you're trying to get your life together or trying to get your finances together is because they are still staring in the dark. And so there become a stumbling block. Association sometimes can become stumbling blocks. See, many times association will break your focus. You know what you should be doing for you. And so here's the whole point. When we're doing something for ourselves, it seems boring. The grass always looks greener on the other side. So then you see your friends, you see your colleagues, you see your acquaintance, and everybody's doing something, and you're just over here working. And so you want to stop what you're doing and lay down your plan to go get with them and assist them in their plan, and yet you're not making progress on two things: your future and your purpose. So those are two words for 2022. The theme has never changed: connect, serve, and grow. And right now we're going to reconnect with ourselves, and then we're going to reconnect back to God. So here's the thing: staring in the dark, here's what happens. This causes setbacks. You must focus on where you are. Where are you? Do an assessment, do an evaluation. Figure out where you are right now in life. Is this the place that you want to be? What does that mean? Is this the job that you want to have? Is this the house that you want to have? Do you want to retire in this house? Is this your car that you plan to be your last car? See, if you put no thought into you, then who's looking out for your future? If you don't put any money up for you, I promise you, you're not going to do too well on Social Security, especially if you like to spend money. And I know some folk that love to spend some money. They have to go to certain places every day. So if your income is cut by 2/3 of that, what do? Great post that you have up. Here's the thing, staring in the dark. You become what you feed your mind. Number one, fear and denial will suffocate your gifts and your talents. Fear, denial, and violent coaching will cause you not to focus on your innate ability. Where you should be laying the foundation. The problem is, many people are looking for other people to do for them what they have the power to do for themselves. Some people think, oh, wow, man, when I get a spouse, we can do this, we can do this. Oh, when I get this, we can do this, and we can do this. And oh, when I get this promotion. What are you doing to ensure that you cannot be denied for the promotion? Some people put all of their value in what you see, and other people put their value in having certificates, credentials, certifications, continuing education, associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, doctoral degrees. There are people who have literally done very little but expect to make what someone has, and they work in the STEM group. What does that mean? They work in science, technology, engineering, and math. Those people get paid way more money. See, we don't understand sometimes some jobs are temporal. They're really designed for part-time and to assist somebody. They're not designed to carry the full frontal load of what you need to take care of yourself or your family. So, still hung up on your past, because the past is things that you're familiar with. It's your comfort zone. So if you're so comfortable sometime, and this is one of the things that the adversary does, he takes away the sight for you to see your future. So then you have less dreams, less visions. You only see what you're doing. You start marking time. Now here comes the danger zone. And it's going to sting a little bit. Let's skip that one. We hadn't got there yet. Let's go to the next one. This is the thing. Let's go to the one that talks about crossing roads. I want to show you something. I read this article today, and it brought me to it. And I'm going to have to say this real slow, because a lot of church folks will get mad. Sometimes we're clinging to hope too long. Hope many times is a life jacket to inspire you that you won't drown. But it doesn't take you out of the water. So there are things that have been lifelines. They were temporal. And we've made them permanent. And clinging on to hope too long. See, hope needs to turn into faith. And there's some people I know out there that say, well, I have faith, but no, hold on. Faith turns into action. Hope is merely what it is. Hope means that I'm trying to get the ingredients and pull them together. Many people have hung on to hope too long, clinging rather than acknowledging. Can I break that out? Remember I just said working something temporal? And you keep adding to your family, you keep adding to the responsibility of your life, and you're hoping that they will pay you what you think you're worth. And your home is in foreclosure, you're behind on your car payment, and you're still working a temporal job, hoping. You laughing? Oh yeah, we talked about hope earlier. Yeah, and you just feel like they gonna do something different. No, they're not. You have to do something different. Because as life grows on, the job you have, where you live, it's like, and I don't mean this to be offensive to anybody, but it's the only way I can say it. It's like having a 1-bedroom home and having 12 people live in the house. You have shelter over your head, but you are compressing everyone because you don't want to take risk. Clinging on to hope. Well, they say they're going to be hiring and you're working a temp job. You still need to be putting in applications at other places. And the thing that I cannot get people to understand, if you want better situation, you're going to have a better skill set, and you're going to have something behind those skill sets to say that you are certified. And I'm glad you got that up, because it's like you're in the HVAC world, right? All right. Well, if I have a building and you just think you know what you're doing and you burn down my building, there's no recourse. And so insurance companies require people who have certifications. I'm not even the last person you should ask to rewire your house. Something's gonna catch on fire. It's okay to laugh. It's some electricians over here, and they're like, because if I think blue go with blue, or blue go with red, and I just start putting colors together, and it comes on. But I don't realize it's finna get hot. What are 2 wires we shouldn't cross? Black and white, we shouldn't cross them. And then we have to put the ground wire down in, right? If you don't put the ground, because I remember when you were nailing the one and you drove it way down in the ground, because if lightning or something hit it, you wanted to go in the ground and not in the building. And I'm out there hooking black to black, and then stuff catch on fire. See, that's clinging to hope too long. Because I'll just do it because I know you, and then I burn down your house, and then your insurance company said, well, who fixed it? And they said, little Reggie did. And little Reggie ain't got no credentials, no insurance. He's not bonded. Hello? I saw some people that just bought a house, and the house needed a lot of work. And now, it would have been nice. Let me show you how the enemy works. It would have been nice if the sink on the first floor went out. But guess what sink went out? The one on the top. And they were gone. So for 18 days, the water just poured and poured and poured and poured all throughout the house. And you know it's wintertime, so you got the heat on and the windows up and the windows down. So now mold is all over the place. Clinging to hope too long. Because see, when you buy some things in cash, you get to cut some corners when you really need to get the home properly inspected. So if you expect to move to the next level in your life, you need to make sure you get some. Do you want someone I almost said something I know that wouldn't have gone over well. But let me make it myself. Do you want me, who is a non-surgeon, doing surgery on your child? So why you think people going to pay you and you don't have no certifications, no degrees? And you think you deserve a 25%? Clinging to hope too long. Now what makes this, I'm loyal, I'll stay here. Well, let me tell you what they say where I sit. Maybe the reason you there, you ain't got nowhere else to go. There's another side to loyalty. Loyalty could be, you're not going to get paid what you're going to get paid somewhere you. So that's why you still. It ain't that you want to leave, is you can't get that same pay. Because they're paying you because you've spent time and you have experience there. But if you go out from that job to another job, and I've said this to people, you're not going to get what you were getting paid. You're going back to the starter pool. Because you don't have those necessary qualifications. And this one says, a tongue has what? No bones, but it is strong enough to hurt someone. Choose your words carefully. Here is what happens. Step number 2. See, here's what happened. Rather than the knowledge that one has made a bad decision or the expectation wasn't met. See, this is something that really I want, and you can put me back up because I'm going to try to close this out in the next 5 minutes. One of the things that we have to do, and you, the audience, I want to engage you in, is in this month of February, Valentine month, all these other things that are going on, is set a level of expectations for you. Not what others expect out of you, but you need to have your own set of expectations. And you need to put a Gantt chart to that. You need to put a time frame on what you're going to do rather than being a part of someone else's group. You need to figure out your own identity, and you need to have an expectation. This thing living and day to day about that life and y'all mean and all that, you just kick rocks. Because most of that comes from someone who said it that made it famous. I like for you to check their bank account and see how famous they are. There are many people, I think one of them was the great Martin Lawrence, that said he should have patented the word, what's up? Because now it's something people use all over the world. But when he used it, they call it ebonics. And now you really can't meet a person in corporate or in regular life. What's up, Blair? What's up, dog? Y'all mean, you know what I mean, man? Come on, don't act like that. I know I'm old. And people tell me, you shouldn't say that. It don't look right when it comes out of your mouth. Well, how do you think it look when it come out of your mouth? Grandma, grandpa, head full of gray hair. Tell me, yeah, you know, I'm about that life, man. You know what I mean, man? You know, trying to get that shut up. Yeah, I know. People looking at me like, you know, Pastor, it'd be nice if you stop. Help us all, Jesus. So you need to set a level of expectation. Now, see, this is where I really like to go, but I don't have the time to go, is when you look at it and the Bible says that you might have life. I come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. God does not intend for his people to be at the back of the line. Now, God doesn't have a problem with you being at the back of the line. God has a problem with you staying at the back of the line. And here's the thing I want to say. You can't be afraid to be successful. That's why Jabez had the prayer, Lord, I don't want to cause harm as you increase my territory. See, a lot of our pain is because we're going in the wrong direction. So real quick, it offers grudgingly. When you cling on to hope too long, it makes you become egregious. It makes you have issues with people, and what they say you take the wrong way because you're already programmed to be negative. And the person says, well, that wasn't what I meant. That wasn't my intent. And yet, because you're already feeling some kind of way, you get the wrong perception of the conversation. So it causes and it offers one to have grudges, still trying to make a failed situation work. Excellent, good one. And this is what I want you to write down. Being too close to the wrong people can ruin you, because it's easy to be around people who don't plan to go nowhere. And I want you to take these notes, and many of you guys across the nation and who've been following Successful Living, the House of Reconciliation, you have enough notes to be teaching class. Now, don't go out there and just start teaching now. But you need to read this stuff, and you need to get this stuff in your spirit, because you have a strong word that will awaken a spirit in your life that will cause you to do better as an individual and cause people around you to get better. Put that one back up again. See, because many times when people have fallen and they have failed, they hate the light in you, and they will poison you. They will say something negative. They will spread that parasitical disease, and they will spread that negativity, and they'll cause you to think your foot hurt and your back hurt, and well, I tried and I failed and I couldn't get it off the ground. I wind up having to pay the government money back. I wouldn't start a business. I wouldn't do that. That's poisonous, parasitical fruit. Here's what we have to do. Not wanting to accept the failed process didn't work. Say it failed, it didn't work, and do what? It's time to close that door. Closing that door will ease the pain, and as you begin to move forward, it will help you, as Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind. Because I want you to take a look, and you can take me out. I want you to look at that piece of fruit that's so infected, and I want you to think in your mind, how can that fruit ever bear anything positive? There are some people in life you cannot fix. There are some people in life you cannot turn around. There are some people in life you can no longer continue to go rescue. There are some people in life you cannot continue to carry. You have to focus on where God has you and accept the hard decision that you're going to have to move on with your life, because you're not completely damaged yet. You're not. But that other piece, there's nothing we can do with that but cut it off. And we have issues with separating, because our past life, past doors, past conversations, ideals in our memory are still haunting us, and they're killing the seeds that God has given you. They're killing your desire to be better, because you're still looking at life through a broken window. And I encourage you, in this month, pray and ask God to create action in your life that you can close the door. By doing these things, now, start recovering. 2, start reshaping. 3, build a strategy. 4, move on. I'll say it again. Now, this month, in your prayer, ask God to help you recover. And in that recovering, there's a level of forgiveness. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive others. And then you got to ask God to help me to move on. Don't worry about forgetting. If you move on, you will forget. Here's the thing. Recover. Number 2, got to ask God to reshape you. This comes out of Romans 12, 1 and 2. Number 3, get a strategy. Number 4, this is the month to move on. Because next month, it starts to warm up. And you don't want to warm up to bake and be burnt up. You want to warm up so you can fire up your engines, get your seeds growing. Number one, again, I need God to help me recover. Number two, I need God to reshape my life, reshape my mind. Number three, I need a new strategy. And number four, I've got to move on. God bless you. I'll see you soon.